Happy TMEA Tuesday again! Here are some practice tips for this year's lyrical etude by Gallay, also known as number 2. Just at a first glance at this etude, you can already predict that the biggest faux pas is going to be looking at measures 12 and 13 and seeing all those 30-second notes and thinking, wow, they must go really fast. But look at the tempo marking. It's Adagio Sostenuto, which is quite slow and sustained. And the suggested tempo even says 8th note equals 72 to 88. If you were wondering, I went ahead and performed this at the exact average of the two, 8th note equals 80. And it's important to remember that there's no reward for just going really fast. You're far more likely to get a higher score in your audition if you play at a tempo that you can play cleanly and with a beautiful sound. And if that's on the slower end of things, then great. That'll still be better than trying to show off and going fast and then not having as clean or as beautiful of a performance as you really could. So since there are a lot of subdivisions beyond the 8th note, I would recommend choosing your 8th note tempo and then subdividing that into 2, which means your high click and your low click of the subdivided metronome become 16th notes when we're used to them being 8th notes. And then that shows you that the 30-second notes in this piece really aren't all that fast in the grand scheme of things. I'll play my recording, but with a metronome on, so you can see how that works. The guidelines on the TMEA website recommend that since this is the lyrical etude, you play it with some liberty and rubato, and that is great advice. It also recommends to learn the whole thing at one tempo before deciding where you want to add the rubato, and that is also great advice. So I went ahead and I did this recording metronomically without the rubato because I figure if you're watching this video, you're using it as a practice tool. And it is a very important practice tool to understand exactly how all these subdivisions work with the metronome. So use my recording as your pre-rubato guidelines. This etude also contains a lot of large leaps that can span 2 octaves or even a little more. And in measure 27, they even take you all the way down to low C. If this is tricky for you, you might benefit from pivoting the horn a little bit forward as you approach those lower notes. Let your jaw follow that pivot, and then that will give your aperture more room to get all the air through the horn that you need in that range. Let's have a slow motion replay of that jaw drop horn pivot. This etude also features some written-in phrasing, such as a crescendo to a certain peak note and then a diminuendo away from that note in measures 28, 29, and 30. But you can also echo that phrasing even where it's not marked. For example, in measures 5 and 6, and then in 19 and 20, you can think of an invisible crescendo leading you to that E-flat downbeat in measure 6 or measure 20. And then do a little invisible diminuendo away from that note as you approach the middle C. And you can do that anytime in the etude that it looks like there should be a peak and then a relaxation. Lyrical etudes do tend to have a little more freedom to them, so make sure to always let your musicality shine through. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the like button. I put out new videos on Tuesdays, so have a great week and see you next time.